Okay, so the thing that I keep hearing in my head is you have been, it was first you've sorely underestimated yourself. No, other people have sorely underestimated you. And then I heard you're sorely underestimating yourself. Obviously, this is an empowerment message. There's something about, there's like the stories that you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. And then there's the truth, which is the deeper knowing. It's like you know, it's getting to a point of discomfort where you know that you're better than the life that you're currently living. And it's not that you're ungrateful for what you've currently got or the life that you're living, but you have outgrown it. It's starting to feel like a really tight squeeze. And you're underestimating yourself. You're also underestimating like how supported you are. We get the higher power card, and it's the number 4, which speaks a lot to foundations as well. You're building something solid, but I don't think you're seeing the progress or feeling like it's going anywhere. I don't think you're seeing yourself accurately right now. Other people can see the potential in you and they can see the power in you, but you are not recognizing that you have a connection to, if you choose to believe in this, I've heard a reader call it the God of my understanding. Like she calls it the God of her understanding, the God of my understanding, because God means different things to different people, right? I personally don't envision, a man sitting in the sky in a big chair throwing lightning bolts. That's Zeus, obviously. But it's this creative energy. It's the life force. It's the thing that flows through all of us and has created our universe. That's how I conceptualize a higher power, a conscious universe, but it's a consciousness that we don't quite understand, and yet it exists in all of us. You are connected to it. You're not separate from it. We are made, as cheesy as it sounds, of stardust. So everything that exists in this universe, you are a part of it. It is a part of you in a spiritual sense. But you're here watching a tarot reading on the internet, so you're probably a little bit spiritual. You're not trusting yourself. And fair enough, if the issue has been that you haven't proven to yourself, because we all really like proof in practical terms. We like to see the result. We like to see the proof. We like to see evidence of our hard work being fruitful, or evidence that we are trustworthy people. If you're just learning to trust yourself for the first time, and it's like, it's almost like, sorry, I got to imagine in reverse. You're having trouble trusting yourself because the results that you're getting aren't reflecting what you had previously imagined, like when you've been doing visioning processes, when you've been doing visualizations. If you're into manifestation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Neville Goddard used to talk about how, the imagination is God. The imagination is divine. It is a tool that allows you to manifest things because it connects you to a reality that you have not yet experienced. But if you can envision it, almost anything is possible. Almost anything is possible. There's obviously shades of gray and technicalities and things like that, but don't come at me in the comments here. You can achieve a lot more than you think, but you're not seeing it because there truly is a lag. It takes a while for your environment, for your world, your reality to reflect back to you who and what you have become on the inside. So everything that you are currently experiencing, the situations that are within your hands, like things that you have affected. Obviously, you do not manifest things like earthquakes or, a house burning down. You don't manifest that kind of stuff. But what you have created for yourself in your reality, the things that are within your control, they're a reflection of previous versions of you. So you could have changed in this present moment, or very recently got into shifting your self-concept, changing, building a new self-concept, which is essential for experiencing a different life. It takes a little bit of time, even if it's just a day, even if it's just a moment, for the world around you to reflect that back to you, to come into alignment with what you have started to emit as your frequency, as your identity, the new behaviors, the new mindset, the new level of consciousness. I think that there's a loss of self-trust because you're not seeing the things showing up for you. But this is the thing. It's about Neville used to talk about persisting in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He's speaking about the feeling that you would have if you were embodying the version of you that can have that thing. What would it feel like? You have to start with that feeling. You have to start with that identity. You have to be in that self-concept and the consciousness of that version of you in order to align with the things that you currently want to manifest and you feel separate from. But to that version of you, they're actually inevitable. So they're not really separate from you. They're just in the unfolding. That self-trust isn't going to be there if you're doing new things, new behaviors. You're trying to manifest something that you've never had before. This is where the faith piece or the trust piece comes in. Believing that you are capable of achieving those things, even though you've never done it before. You truly have to trust yourself, and you have to trust based upon very little evidence, if any. Ooh, almost lost all the cards there. So the Imagine card in the reverse is like, it seems to me like you're going backwards in terms of your visualization process, the things that you're envisioning. Maybe you have a vision board. I call mine my manifestation board because that stuff is coming true. I will tell you with a lot of confidence that you can manifest. It's not as complicated as we think. It's not necessarily easy when it comes to the persistence in the assumption that what you desire is going to come to fruition. That's not always easy because it requires an internal shift, and there's work that goes into doing that to be able to maintain it. You just have to have the trust, and you're building trust in yourself based off of very little evidence right now. So don't let it get to this point where instead of pursuing and persisting, because you are on your way to the manifestation or it's on its way to you, you're simply aligning to it. It's kind of like you're taking an elevator up. The thing already exists on, level 10, but you're down here at level 2 and you need to elevate in terms of your consciousness in order to align with it. And then when you open the door, the thing's like right there, it's just down the hallway. But there's a process of elevating to that level of consciousness. Don't let this, it seems like a funk that you're in. It might just be a bad day. It doesn't have to be a whole bad day. It can just be a difficult moment. Don't let that make you think, oh no, I can't actually have it. And then it's like you take your vision away. Like, oh, I was dreaming big, but now I know that, there's no proof that I can be trustworthy or maintain this or be the version of me that I gotta be in order to have the thing that I want to have. I'm not going to visualize anymore. I'm not going to allow myself to believe. We even do need to get to a point where we go beyond belief, and instead it's just the deep knowing. That's the frequency. That is the consciousness that we have to be in order to truly get the thing. Believing is the first step. Of course, if you don't believe, then it's not going to happen. You won't strive for it. But then we go beyond belief, exchanging gifts. Interesting. I keep getting this card coming up every time I cut the deck. Exchanging gifts. I think that potentially there's a collaboration that's going to happen between you and another person. And it's like the fruit of that exchange is going to come when you don't expect there to be something in return. You're giving a gift freely, whether it's an actual physical thing or it's helping someone, a service, your kindness, offering a perspective that's actually really helpful to them, or they ask you for advice. Gifts can show up in many different ways. Maybe you haven't tapped into your gifts yet. You haven't figured out certain things that other people would say your gifts are. So maybe reflect on that a bit. But offering them from a space of love, offering them openly to people who, or are, I'm getting a person in particular. I think there's someone that you're going to meet or someone that you already know who, when you give them a gift that you possess, thing or service or insight or love or time, whatever it is, You are going to get something in return, but you don't approach it in that way. It's like when you give something selflessly, that in this specific situation, you will get something quite profound in return. And it's unexpected, and it turns that imagination or imagine card around again. It restores your hope. Yeah. I don't know. In my mind, it's some sort of collaboration. Mending and soulmates. Oh, wow. Okay. This could be a love relationship because we got soulmates. Mending. It's restoring balance in a relationship. I think that it's like through the mending of maybe a difficult relationship, tension. This could be a romantic relationship. It could be a family relationship. It could be roommate. It could be coworker. It could be neighbor. It could be anything. But ultimately, through the healing of whatever potential like tension or conflict you've had with someone in your life, the energy, the frequency that you are embodying, that I think has been really bogged down by some kind of dysfunction in a relationship. It's like it's taking all of your attention, all of your energy. It feels like an energy drain, right? Even if it's not on purpose, that person isn't doing that to you on purpose. It weighs very heavily on you. So it's like needing to mend the relationship first. Now, obviously, life rolls on. You have to do other things. But ultimately, if you really want to manifest and get back to a place where you envision great things again, it's like when you experience tension or conflict, whether it's with other people or potentially with yourself, because I do think the soulmates card can refer to the relationship that you have with yourself, that's really your soulmate. We all have to figure out that relationship. The sooner the better, because we need to be our own best friend. We're the person that we can really count on. We're with ourselves for life. It's in mending those relational challenges that all of a sudden the tension releases, the weight lifts. It's not so heavy anymore. And it's almost like your mind just opens up and you start to imagine again. Maybe you need to open up your heart and offer something to somebody else who potentially is struggling, but that person might be someone who is triggering to you, or that you have a tense relationship with. Sometimes that can make us lose our compassion, and we need to check ourselves in this moment. Alternatively, this could be the relationship that you have with yourself. You might be so frustrated by a lack of self-trust because you don't feel like things are changing in your life that you are almost shutting yourself out. It's being so hard on yourself because you think somehow that that's either going to motivate you, which I'm going to guess hasn't been very effective. It's not a sustainable way to motivate yourself. Being mean, like drill sergeant style, has never worked for me personally beyond a certain amount of time. It's exhausting. Or it's like minimizing and going, oh, I was dreaming too big. That's not realistic. I got to reel it back because I can't trust myself to get there to that dream. And it's like, okay, but it's dreaming bigger. It's that whole Delulu is this a Lulu thing. I don't even like the word Delulu. Don't tell my mentor. Several of them. They all love this word. I actually don't think these things are that delusional. They're only delusional to the version of you in this moment who is using that word to describe it. It's like as soon as you shift into the self-concept, the identity, the frequency, and align with the thing that it is you would like to manifest, it's not delusional anymore. It's inevitable. And so I think in my mind, I had already I had skipped that step and was just like, it's not delusional. It's inevitable. But you have to be able to maintain that. And simply get to that point, and you get there first by being present in this moment and allowing yourself to be quote unquote delusional. I just heard self-hatred. Please don't hate yourself. It's just a bad day. It's a bad feeling. It's gonna pass. I promise you. It's like there's such an intense wobble that's happening right now because for some reason in this moment, on this day, you're at war with yourself. And because of that, it's like you're throwing the vision board out the window. It's like, I can't manifest. It's never going to happen. And I want to call you on that. You are the type of person who gives yourself such a hard time because you know that you're capable. It's like in the know. It's like it was easier to feel apathy and feel disconnected, but also not feel bad or uncomfortable when you didn't have the, pardon me. Oh, yeah, you're channeling. It's only 8:30 in the evening. I should not be yawning, so it's definitely a channeled yawn. When we don't actually believe that we're capable of big things or the things that we dream about, or we're not even allowing ourselves to dream bigger in the first place, that's not actually that painful. It's boring. It's a snooze fest. Nothing really changes when we're in that place. But it can feel really, really tense and really, really uncomfortable when you start to know on a deeper level, truthfully, that you are capable of more. Then it's really painful to know that there are certain things that you are not doing, ways that you're not showing up, that you know that if you did and you did it consistently, eventually that delusional thing that you want would actually be inevitable because you will have essentially become the you that outcome is inevitable for. And you know that. So being mean to yourself right now is not helping you get to your goal. But that doesn't mean to throw the goal out the window. This doesn't mean go, I'm not going to try to manifest that anymore. It's like, no, it's just recognizing that there's contrast between who you perceive yourself to be in this moment and the version of you that is capable of having that manifestation and making that happen or receiving that thing. It's because of that discrepancy that you're minimizing or reducing the size of the vision or the goal when that's not what needs to happen. It seems like maybe that's easier, but ultimately it's harder as time goes by because that regret and disappointment actually starts to build. And now that you know what you're capable of, it's going to be very painful if you don't pursue it. So truly the only way for this to feel better in the long run is to continue pushing, to continue doing what you can to shift your self-concept and show up in the way that you need to in order to make that thing that someone might tell you is delusional into something that is inevitable for you. Don't give up hope. I know that you're capable of it, and mending that relationship, yeah, it could be relationships around you that are causing stress and they're taking energy and focus away from the work that you need to be doing. But I do get the sense that this might be a need to mend the relationship that you have with yourself. The exchanging gifts thing, it could just be shifting to an energy of feeling abundant in the interim. Maybe the money's not there yet. The job offer hasn't happened. Maybe you feel like there's more money going out than coming in. Fair enough. In sharing your gifts with the world, you will receive in return. But it's really hard not to get into that holding energy, that like really locking down energetically. It's very hard to stay open to the flow when things are confirmation burp. Oh, and yawn. Wow. Oh, jeez. A burp and a yawn all at the same time. It's hard to stay open in order to receive when you feel like you need to shut down to prevent any more flowing out, when what you really want and need is for things to flow in. But it does require an energy, like you can still be responsible with your resources, but it does require an energy of doing whatever you can to feel abundant now. I know it's annoying to hear that, but when it comes to manifestation, when you really get into, the more ancient perspectives and teachings on it that show up in, biblical times and Hermetic principles, really, really ancient teachings on the power and process of manifestation, it does require the shift internally before things change outside. We become powerless when we base our self-concept and we base how we feel on the things that surround us. That is ultimately how you give your power away, and people stay stuck and miserable, like myself included. I have been there, and it takes a lot of trust and faith to be able to simply decide to walk in trust that as long as you are doing the work internally, eventually it will be reflected back to you in the world around you. There hasn't been enough opportunity for the outcomes to show up for you. And that could be because maybe there hasn't been enough time. We don't get to determine the timing of these things and when we receive them. But it could also be an issue of frequency and self-concept and identity not being maintained. This is the persisting in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Who's able to feel that feeling? It's the version of you that you are currently working on stepping into, the one that outcome is inevitable for. So your focus needs to be on the internal, on shifting who you perceive yourself to be. And I promise you that in doing that, that feeling, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, will come so much more easily because that version of you knows on that deep level. They're not just like teaching themselves to believe that they can have the outcome. That version of you knows of its inevitability. So it's much easier to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's not even a wish, it's just the outcome come to be. It's the outcome manifested. It really is an inside job. And I know that's so hard sometimes. So we just have to learn to tell ourselves that it's not going to be so hard after all. Get here. This is why, as someone who's trained as a therapist, I work as a coach, but I'm trained as a therapist. And so we learn, in grad school and in practice, all these different healing modalities. And they each have their own strengths and benefits. But I discovered manifestation a while back, and the deeper I go into learning about it and practicing it, the more fascinating I find it in terms of self-development and the healing required in order to manifest in a way that is long-lasting and is easier. You can manifest things, you can make them happen, you can reach your goals and never change your self-concept. But that takes a heck of a lot longer. It can be really exhausting. It can involve chasing things, pushing for things, working really, really hard to make certain things happen, versus doing the internal work and shifting your self-concept and truly shifting what you believe about yourself and your capabilities and the inevitability of the outcome that you have decided on. Once you've decided and you maintain that decision and the frequency and identity and self-concept required of it, that is when things align. That is when opportunities seem to come out of nowhere. That's when things flow. But that requires the inner work. And I would say it's very worth it to do that, because eventually that energy starts to flow. It's like a domino effect, and the manifestations start to trigger more and more manifestations as your reality starts to shift around you because you did the work on the inside. So perhaps a part of it is mending relationships around you. Perhaps a part of it is mending the relationship that you have with yourself. I think that's a big one. And it says exchanging your gifts, but giving your gifts to the world, showing up and showing what an incredible person you are and the gifts that you have to share. Because right now, you staying invisible, you being disconnected from your inner power, I just heard shirking responsibility. It's as if there's some sort of like higher power, the God of your understanding or the universe or whatever you believe in. Maybe it's your ancestors. your guides, I don't know. There's people counting on you, whether you are aware of it or not, whether you perceive them or not. There are people rooting for you. There are people counting on you. You have a responsibility, things that you need to do, and now is the time. And that's probably why it feels so uncomfortable. That is the message. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you soon. Bye.